The bucket tipped over before anyone realized what was happening. Dirty water spilled across polished marble sidewalk, spreading fast, carrying bits of trash and soap into the street. The sound wasn't loud, but it was enough to make people turn. A mop clattered to the ground, and then came the voice, sharp, loud, angry. "You call this clean?" The man in the suit didn't wait for an answer. He kicked the bucket again. Hard. Water splashed across the shoes of a few bystanders. Someone stepped back. Someone else pulled out their phone. But no one stepped in. Right in front of them, a thin man in a faded uniform stood frozen, his hands still gripping the handle of a worn-out mop. His name was Luis. He was 62 years old. And this job, this quiet, invisible job of cleaning sidewalks before sunrise and after sunset, was the only thing keeping him afloat. "I just cleaned it, sir," Luis said softly. Too softly. The man laughed. Not the kind of laugh that comes from humor. The kind that comes from power. "Then do it again," he snapped. "And this time try not to make it look like a dump." Luis bent down immediately. No argument, no resistance, just survival. He reached for the fallen bucket, his hands shaking slightly as he tried to gather what little water was left. That's when the man did something no one expected. He stepped forward and knocked the bucket out of Luis's hands again. This time on purpose. The plastic cracked as it hit the edge of the curb. A small sound. But it landed heavy. Luis didn't move for a second. He just stared at the broken bucket, like something inside him had quietly given up. And still, no one said a word. That's when someone else stepped into the frame. Not loudly, not aggressively, just there. "Hey everyone, I'm Faith, and today I want to tell you about a moment that didn't look important at first. But for one man, it changed everything." His name was Cole Harrington, a Navy SEAL, off-duty, no uniform, no badge, just a plain black t-shirt, worn jeans, and a leash in his hand. At the end of that leash stood Rex, a Belgian Malinois, lean, alert, completely still, the kind of stillness that feels like it's watching everything. They had just turned the corner when Cole saw it. The broken bucket, the spilled water, the old man on his knees, and the man in the suit, adjusting his cufflinks like nothing had happened. Cole didn't rush. He didn't shout. He just watched. Rex's ears tilted forward, locked in, reading the tension the way only trained dogs can. Cole took one step forward, then another, slow, controlled, not toward the man in the suit, but toward Luis. He crouched down beside him without saying a word, picked up the broken pieces of the bucket, set them aside, then reached for the mop. Luis looked up, confused. "You don't have to," he started. Cole shook his head once, calm. "It's okay," he said quietly. That was it. No speech, no drama, just action. And somehow, that made it louder than anything else happening on that street. The man in the suit noticed. Of course he did. People like him always notice when attention shifts. "What's this?" he said, stepping closer. "You his replacement?" Cole didn't look at him. Not yet. He kept working, wringing out the mop, cleaning the same spot Luis had already cleaned twice. Slow, precise, like it actually mattered. And maybe that's what made it uncomfortable, because suddenly it did. "You should mind your business," the man added, his tone tightening. Still no response, just the sound of the mop moving across the ground. Back and forth, back and forth. Rex hadn't moved either, but now he was watching the man. Not aggressively, not barking, just focused. The kind of focus that makes people second-guess themselves. The man shifted his weight. "You think you're some kind of hero?" he asked. That's when Cole finally looked up. Just once. No anger, no expression. Just a look. And something in that moment changed. It's hard to explain, but sometimes presence is louder than words. The man's voice faltered for half a second. Just enough. Cole stood up slowly, not to confront him, not to threaten, just to stand. And even that felt like too much. "Pick it up," the man said, trying to regain control, but it didn't land the same. Because now, people were watching differently. Phones were still out, but not for the same reason. Luis was back on his feet too. Still quiet, still unsure, but no longer alone. Cole turned slightly toward him. "Do you have another bucket?" he asked. Luis hesitated, then nodded. "In the back, small one," he said. Cole gave a small nod. "I'll grab it." He walked past the man in the suit like he wasn't even there. Rex followed, perfectly in step. No tension, no noise, just quiet control. And that's when it broke. "Hey," the man called out. Louder now, but there was something missing. Authority. Cole didn't stop, didn't turn around, didn't react. Because sometimes the most powerful response is none at all. A few minutes later, he came back with a smaller bucket. Clean. Uncracked. He filled it from a nearby tap, brought it back, set it down beside Luis, and together they finished the job. No rush. No rush at all. Step by step. Like it deserved to be done right. Like Luis deserved to be done right. Like Luis deserved that much. People started stepping in, not to argue, not to fight, but to help. One person picked up trash, another brought paper towels, someone even offered Luis a bottle of water. And just like that, the scene changed. Not because of force, but because one person decided not to look away. The man in the suit stood there for a moment longer, looking around, realizing something had shifted. He adjusted his jacket again, but this time it didn't help. Without another word, he turned and walked away. No apology, no final comment, just gone. And somehow, that said everything. Louis sat down on the edge of the sidewalk once it was done. Exhausted, overwhelmed. He wiped his face with the back of his hand. "I've been doing this job 14 years, he said quietly. "Never thought someone would stop like that." Cole shrugged slightly. "It's just the right thing," he replied. "Simple, direct, no need to dress it up." Luis looked at Rex. "He didn't even bark," he said. Cole gave a small smile. "He doesn't need to." Rex sat beside him, calm as ever, but still watching, always watching. Luis nodded slowly, like he understood something deeper than what just happened. Not about strength, not about power, but about respect. Real respect. The kind you don't demand, the kind you show. As Cole turned to leave, Luis called out, "Hey." Cole stopped. "Look back." "Thank you," Luis said. Cole nodded once, then walked away. No spotlight, no applause, just another quiet exit. But the people who saw it, they didn't forget. Because moments like that stick. They make you think. They make you ask yourself something uncomfortable. What would you have done? Would you have stepped in? Or would you have just watched? Before you go, if stories like this mean something to you, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, when was the last time you stood up for someone who couldn't stand up for themselves? Because sometimes it's not about being strong. It's about choosing not to stay silent.